Okay, folks, I'm back once again. Back from the spray booth, even though there's no spray booth. Finishing the German armored cars this afternoon, and we went ahead and sprayed them. And I'm getting the hang of it. I'm getting the hang of the airbrush. So, didn't have a single jam. No issues. I really don't have anything else to say. I mean, so, oh, we did have a fender that fell off. It's not a big deal. Hey, Alberto. So we did spray all these guys out, and let's see. I think I need to adjust this. Oh, there we go. And we need to do a couple things. Let's super glue the two tank crewmen. Estudiando Derecho Penitenciario. Penitenciario. Okay. Studying. That's it. Estudiando de penitencia. Okay. Let's make sure. Let's scrape this stuff off of here. Okay. And that guy's done. You guys go hang out here with the other Nazi bastards. Alright, we need to glue this on, which came off in the middle of me of myself handling this. And I think I should be able to just do it like this. I didn't have a single jam on the airbrush. So I ran it with the primer, with the Vallejo primer, and I didn't have a single jam. I didn't thin the primer, and cleaned it right up. So, getting the hang of it. Or, you know, it's doing its part. It's behaving like it should. Okay, we're going to have to scrape some here. So it could adhere. 8 y cuarto. Yep. Yep. That's the time that it is here. 8:15. Ocho y cuarto. Oh man, I don't know how I'm going to be able to get this in here. Maybe this was not that wise of a move. Well, let's just scuff this up some. Let's see where this takes us. I'm going to go ahead and just super glue this side. I'm just going to super glue this side. Oh, geez, put it in the right place, dumbass. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and take some of these. And we'll work on other ones. Good morning, studio. Oh, there was something I was going to ask you and I forgot what it was. Oh well, it'll come up. Or it won't. Man, I wonder what it was. Must have not been that important. Or I wouldn't have forgotten. Really getting the hang of the airbrush now. Or like I said, you know, it's just, this one's behaving like they all should have. You know, it's not like I'd never used an airbrush before in my life. I'd never used a piece of shit one that was, you know, you have to fight with all the time. I saw a article on Wargamer Soldier and Strategy that was a World War II battle in your neck of the woods there, studio. It was a battle for Malaya. And it looked really, really, really nice. Really nice. Okay, so the plan is to, well, we're going to mess with this one last, is, yeah, you see what I did here? This is one piece, so we're going to attach that. It's going to be loose here. What I actually should have done is I should have left it loose down here on the armored car as well, and then we could just set it on there. But it might have been too flimsy, but let's not drop this on the ground now. And you know, we can fit that back on there, and it won't be glued on here. So I just have to be really careful. But we should have a turning turret on this thing. Well, you will be on. Well, you will be my on while I paint as well. Okay, excellent. Oh, look. This fits in here. And this new... Ha, ha, ha. Ho, 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 ho. Yes. We got a new thing at IKEA. Which is something to kind of cut on the clutter of everything else. The only thing is this ended up being too tall for all the brushes. So, we ended up having to put my wife put like a fake base on it and attached them to that. So we'll see if that works. But yeah, so the plan is going to be we're going to dry brush some Panzer Gray on these, and you know, so we can give them the Agrax Earthshade wash. And let's cut us up a little piece of something we can dry brush on. Piece of cardboard. Man, I don't remember what I was going to ask you. I don't think it was just that Battle of Malaya. Well, that looked pretty cool. But think what I'm going to do is, so I went to a Barnes and Noble bookstore, and they had a copy of War Games, Soldier and Strategy, and it's $11, and I think it was $11.99. It was $10.99 or $11.99 for one issue. And it's significantly less online. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to cancel my Audible account. I got to pick what I'm going to use my credits for, and then switch over to War Games, Soldiers and Strategy for a year and see how that works out. It's actually less money. So, because I still have I'm maybe halfway through this book and I still have 8 more credits. So I'm probably good for a year, honestly, on books. Okay, let's get some dry brushing brushes. And I really needed to pull all this out and readdress these, but that won't happen today. That won't happen today. All right. That should work for the Panzer Gray, or as they call it, German Gray. Jeez. Because there's a lot of inspiration in those magazines, and not for other, just in painting styles. Let's put it that way. And yes, you can go and get them online. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the print and the PDF, because it's nice having the print one, but I don't want to wait until it gets shipped to me, kind of thing. Let's see. I'm actually going to look for one that has a little bit more. This one's good. Okay. Okay, Panzer Gray it is, because all these will be Panzer Gray. And I do not plan to airbrush this process. I still will continue doing the dry brush method. Couple reasons. I want all my stuff to look consistent, and I am a lot more in tune with this than the airbrush, and probably will always be so. This has got, brush painting has 35 years a head start than the airbrush. But didn't have a single jam with this. I ran this about 45 pounds of pressure with the airbrush thinner. Didn't thin it at all. Not the surface primer. I didn't thin it at all. It behaves really weird. So you start spraying it, and I didn't have to stop it at all. Now, when you clean it out, there's a scum that forms. Well, in Spanish it'd be called natilla. It almost looks like there's like this stuff, the residue that you get left with on it, because it's got some polyurethane type properties to it, and it's not a big deal. It's just something to keep in mind. But I didn't have a single jam with it. And I didn't thin it. I used it right out of the bottle. So I'm getting the hang of what pressure works with what things. Did a flip through video of the magazine a few videos ago. It's a good magazine. The current issue? They had the 122 on there. Issue 122. The one that they had the battle that the Fat Lardies did at Arnhem, and they just happened to have that one in the store, and I'm like, $12 for one issue is stupid. That's just an absurd amount of money. When you can, I don't know, what is it for, like $30 or something like that? You get it's less than that. It's like a year's worth or something like that. Plus you get the digital copy. You did an issue from 2005, yeah. Do you think it's a? Do you think it is a better? The quality of the pictures in there is better than miniature War Games Illustrated. Which one do you think has the best quality of all the? Because there's three, right? There's War Games Illustrated. It's been around forever. There's one that's called Miniature War Games, and then there's this War Games Soldiers and Strategy, which is relatively new. I think it came out during the time that I was doing DBA, so it's definitely a 21st century thing. Which one do you think has the best quality if you're looking for good pictures? You know, because maybe somebody subscribed to all three, but that seems a bit excessive. A bit expensive. Forget expensive, excessive. The best thing is to actually credit the painter. The collection it's from and the make. Okay, well that's important. People should get credit for it. Is that your favorite one of them? Oop. So this is an Italian effort. The pics look better with double page spreads. Okay. Well, the name of the publishing, right? It's like Kawaranse or something like that. Like they have a Dutch address, and it's like Kawaranse something or another. So I said, well, maybe it's an Indian publication, you know, based in the Netherlands. I don't know, but yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. Because I need some inspiration now that we're going to go into doing buildings. My wife is going to be out. I'm going to be soloing for a few weeks, not all one at a time, coming up in a few months. So I want to dive into doing finishing the buildings that I have. Now that we have an airbrush. And we're still gonna dry brush, still gonna do this method, you know. But man, just being able to get in all the nooks and crannies. And the other thing is use an airbrush, and it's not like super shiny, and it dries. Here's the thing I thought was really cool. I'm doing it really lightly and building up the colors. And say if I go over a little bit more and it gets a little bit extra on there, you know, you can just blow the air and it can dry it immediately. So you don't have to wait a long time to use this. It's dry basically instantly. So that is super handy. And I think I'll be able to handle it being in the garage, being hot. As long as it's a successful endeavor. Okay, so this is this particular one, which is a 231. And well, we got a long way to learn. It's more like, you know, confidence and stuff, you know, because I want to do some snow stuff at one time. And we'll get there. We got to crawl before we can walk. The only thing it doesn't of zero interest is the advertising in it, because you know it's so there's some rule sets that are so dominant now, and I don't play them. You know, I don't care what they come out with in 28 millimeter because I'm not going to buy 28 millimeter figures. So you know, a lot of it is like the advertising is like useless to me. And I did clean this area, and I did find those darn brass rods that I was going to put for the Martyr. So we're going to build the armature on the Martyr 3 with the brass. I don't know if brass rod is the correct terminology, but they're like brass pins that I had gotten to use as spears, and I never did anything with them. And I've had them a long time. I'm like, okay, well, I want them to be out of brass because we're going to need to do some 90-degree bends. And it would be handy to just be able to do that. You know, I want to keep doing this dry brush because I get the right amount of contrast at a distance. And it's kind of my own style, so might as well be different. Okay, and this is a 231. It's liberating to know that I don't have to wait on decals and stuff. I'm just going to paint them myself. Now, these next two, I'm a little concerned about because they are more fragile. They are Rodin models, and they're more fragile than a Plastic Soldier company. So we need to go a little bit less scrubby. What do we got here? A mess. Let's clean it. Let's clean this guy up. Let's clean this guy up. Let's get us a towel. We don't need that whole thing. We could probably use very little, an eighth of one. All right, now one needle. And I just don't feel bad about not going to Historicon this year. It's $500 expense. You know how much other stuff I can buy instead of $500 and not use for vacation days also? You know, I just don't want to go. I just don't want to go bad enough. You know, they're going to have some, oh, this is flimsy. I don't like that. I'm going to have to keep my eye on you. I'm going to, let's drop that in there. Let's use a different one. Doesn't matter if this one's green. This is drying out really fast. Come on. I'm still surprised that this rodent and the one by Plastic Soldier Company scaled that close together. So it was nice to be able to replace those pieces of one on the other, because some of the rodent pieces were just too, well, they were damaged. I couldn't do anything with them. Come on, come out slowly. All right, we're gonna leave that there. Clamp that down, and we're gonna leave this there because we're gonna need it in a second. This is one of these vehicles that if I wasn't basing them on bases, I'd want to for the fragility of them, of these. Gotta be careful we don't knock this no-tech light, etc. off of it, and then we gotta repair the items on the model. Same thing with this MG34 that's at the front. Be real careful going around that. Oh, well, you know what? I didn't make a mess. I'm probably going to use all that anyways. Said nothing, it's nothing, it's nothing, it's too much. Let's go ahead and put it away. I don't think we're going to need more than that. Alright, I'm going to go real gently over this. Got to be careful that I don't stick something in the and transfer it somewhere else. But now that we know hand sanitizer takes all this paint off, including off your clothes, including old versions of your paint from many years ago on your clothes, that's just a blessing. All right, we're going to have to switch to something a little smaller to be able to get underneath there. Why is this one so bouncy? We'll come back and super glue that in place. Ultimately, it doesn't matter because it's going to go on a base, but I don't want it to break off in the process of getting this thing painted, which is a distinct possibility. Okay. Now this one with the turning turret, this is the Rodin 232. I don't know that I want to paint all 5 of them at once. We're gonna do all this Panzer Gray, and then we'll do the washing, and then probably from that point on, we'll probably complete them one at a time. I'm thinking that's how we're going to go about it, but. This method works for me. It gives us some nice variation in the modulation, so to speak, and it's easy to do. You don't have to have an airbrush. It's minimum equipment. haven't built a kit in a while. Man, I love working with the plastic stuff as opposed to the white metal. The white metal is just such a, it's just, you have to use so much force to drill a hole. You have to, it's just a blessing working with the plastic. With the plastic, models. Figures, I'm not there yet. I haven't fully accepted their existence yet, but I got some Airfix 1/72 scale. Maybe I'll motivate to paint a couple of them to fill in the thing and see if... I'm just concerned about the paint sticking to them, But these Rodin kits are not for the beginner. Absolutely not. Okay, that may be about it, because remember, we're going to give this a brown wash to kind of add some differentiation there. Okay, this thing, see if it's glued up. Yep. Super glued the fender. It fell on me while I was grabbing it. Now, this howitzer, I had to spray black and get all the way in there. So I took the howitzer out, and it's a tight fit. But I don't know what color the interior is, but I'm not going to paint this a different color. We're going to paint it just gray on the inside. It's an open top vehicle, so I know German interiors were like a light color, like an ivory. I don't think they would have done that on this vehicle. I think this vehicle would have just stayed gray overall. It's funny that this has almost some 3D printing quality to it. I can see some lines on it, almost like if it was 3D printed, and I know it's not. It's an injection molded kit, but see if I can get that on the... I don't know if you guys would be able to tell, but these fender parts are definitely look like they're 3D printed. Maybe some of it is. I don't know. I've never seen that on a plastic model, though. This has so many little vision spots. Periscopes and flaps and so forth. But I think I'm going to work on the vehicles I have, or maybe get a couple Soviet vehicles. I said vehicles? No. Buildings. There's an article in one of the the issue 122 of War Games, Soldiers, and Strategy, where somebody had taken a MDF model, like a building, and had doctored it up with I think it was a destroyed building, and they doctored it up with, adding more beams and yeah, I saw that and I'm like, yeah, I would like to maybe get a subscription to it because I'm going to find out some interesting ideas maybe to take things to the next level. Instead of, spending in the 10 years like not doing something that I could very easily make the vehicles look better. Not vehicles, buildings. Wow, I guess that's today's word. I want to say buildings and I say vehicles. No, we got the vehicles where we like them. I'm happy with them and I can make them pretty consistent. Like this. I think that's all the Panzer Gray we're going to need on this guy. That's all of them. We got to do the turrets and so forth. Here's the 75 millimeter gun. Soldier stretch, good mass. Feels like it's done by fans, strangely. Maybe that's the right people to do it. People that are interested in promoting the hobby instead of people that want to turn a profit. Yeah, I like the look of it a lot. And it has a lot of periods that I'm not particularly interested in, but I think that the ideas for terrain can apply to all of them. That's mainly what I want to do is we want to get the terrain where it looks as good as the stuff you see in that magazine. Yeah. I don't really care for the end of this thing to be in Panzer Gray because it's just going to end up being black anyways from being fired. All right, let's put this guy back on here. Okay. Just let it dry up here. This is the Rodin turret with the Plastic Soldier Company mount. Oh, I just noticed, do all of the turrets have this? Oh, they do. They have like a double opening back here in the back. Games Illustrated feels very businesslike. I had a couple of old copies, and I'm talking like from like the early 90s. I think I got them from somebody who didn't want them. I'm sure that's what it was. And there's a lot of black and white stuff in there, which is not inspirational. All right, this thing's got that thing's achieved its half-life as well. We basically want to paint it overall in Panzer Gray, but with some black being left in certain places. And I do not like the 20 millimeter cannon in gunmetal. I like it painted whatever color the vehicle is. And The jury's still out on which one's correct. Maybe both are correct, depending on when what you're trying to simulate. Okay, here is a so much more robust turret here. Oh, they're horsing around in the other room. The magazine you reviewed did feature on the Macedonians. Man, I'll have to check it out. I am so far behind watching other people's channels. Of course, I've watched your stuff in the car, because not always is there a lot of heavy picture use, things moving a lot. So in the car, I mean, on the drive to work. We're almost done with this. That's all of them, right? That's the two turrets of that. 1, 2, 3, and the gun, the cannon. Okay, and I'm actually not going to give it the Agrax Earthshade wash tonight. I'm going to let them sit overnight. And in the morning before I go to work, I should have time to get, oh boy, this got nice and hard. Should be dry enough to do that. Yeah, okay. Here's an example. So I'll say I want to use this brush, right? I'll go ahead and take this off. Let's just say I want to use this brush. This one, I did not do a very good job of cleaning it. A long time ago. I mean, look, there's like dried paint on here. Completely. I don't know what the hell this was in, but this wasn't even put this wasn't even put in the bucket of stuff. So you're not going to be able to get that paint on there. Ah, ha ha. Yes, you can. We're going to put some hand sanitizer. And look at that. Amazing. Of course, I should have probably done this. You really want to do it over your sink. I wanted to show you guys. There we go. Look at all the stuff that's coming out. And this is totally dried, like useless. It's not enamel paint. This is all look at this. Back to life. I wish somebody would grab that alarm. Hold on 1 second. So here is the brush. Totally usable again. Crazy, huh? You've been busy with these streams, which I like. Good. Well, we're all here to help each other, you know? I mean, there's no elephant poo in my streams. It's nothing as funny as that. But so again, you know, you've got this paint. Usually, the easiest way to get rid of this paint is just take hand sanitizer. And I just found this out by mistake. You know, I just figured I gotta share this kind of stuff. I can't keep these wizardry to myself. You know, look at that. Paint gone. Unbelievable. And it works really well on the Vallejo surface primer, which is a pain to get off your hands because it has polyurethane properties to it. So, incredible. Incredible stuff. So, all right, so this is the gun that will fit inside of here. And this gets one of those. This one goes with that one. This one goes with this one. We can put the Bubba Rands away. And let me see if they're done in the other room. I'll be right back. All right, and this is where we're going to pick up with the Agrax Earthshade. I don't know if you guys can tell, but there is some highlighting. You can see black still in the crevices. These will all pop out nicely. These are going to be quite a bit on the dusty end, because if there's a vehicle that's going to kick up a lot of dust, it's these that could go almost, I think they go like 50 miles an hour or something like that, if the conditions were right, through Russia. So anyhow, yeah, get some hand sanitizer. Freaking amazing. Unbelievable. I really need to go through all my old brushes and do that. Now, it doesn't bring them back to shape, you know, but at least makes them useful if, you know, you forget to, if you botch it up and leave something in there too long or something. So this is going to have Agrax Earthshade washed on top of it. And then that will dry. And then we will dry brush the Panzer Gray again. We'll do a dry brush of the Luftwaffe blue, which adds a little bit of a blue tint to it, and then highlight with that, and then we will weather afterwards. Actually, we'll do the decal. I don't know if I'm going to use these decals, or I'm going to hand paint them. Kind of hard to say. I'm really enjoying hand painting the crosses. I could make them exactly the size I need them to be. Now, speaking of hand painting the crosses, I haven't done anything with them. They're here somewhere. I have what I printed out of all the Nazi banners, and I haven't put anything on them. I haven't put them on the vehicles yet. They didn't print out the correct dimensions. They're a little longer than they're supposed to be. For some reason, I don't know why they printed out, but they're elongated a little bit. I think they might probably work just fine, but that's to be seen. But anyhow, this is where we'll pick up next time. And thanks for coming by, and we'll see you on the next one. See you, folks.